this is the fountain or the spring. It is called Mary Springs, even though, from 2,000 years ago, it wasn't built for Mary. It is just a tradition that Elizabeth came to meet Mary when Mary came from Nazareth. Now, we did the way yesterday on the bus from Nazareth, and you saw how long it took us. This is a minaret, and the building used to be a mosque, because Ein Kerem, when Jerusalem was conquered by the Muslims, and I'm talking early 7th century AD, they've conquered every place. And here, especially in Ein Kerem, a lot of the churches were used as stables. They weren't really destroyed, but they were used as stables, and they built other mosques. When we took it over again in 48, the building apparently was not very safe for use anymore, but we are not in the habit of destroying. It doesn't matter that it's a mosque, it's an historical building. The whole church on its 2 levels is called the Church of Visitation, referring to the visit that Mary pays to her cousin Elizabeth, who lives here. Elizabeth being married to Zakaria, who's a priest, probably they don't live in just a regular home. And there's another place here that is recognized as the house, and this is an extra house that they have, probably called the summer house. Now, even though it's called the Church of Visitation, there are 2 themes that are presented here. Here, down here, you can see it looks very simple. The mosaic floor is not decorated. It's mostly to present, when you have a hut and you put sort of this mat on the floor. This is more likely because you don't see anything else here. Then here we have remnants of the previous church that was here, and the vault is built on top of the well. This piece of rock, when we climbed up the steps, you can't see it anymore because the steps it used to be very narrow, and part of the side was sort of climbing the mountain. But since the people of the church have refurbished or made it look nicer and more comfortable for the people to climb, you don't really see part of what used to be a cave. And that cave is believed to be the cave that traditionally where Elizabeth hid with her baby. Because you remember, only John and Jesus were saved from the massacre of the babies. It is the rock that covered the cave. I can assure you there were caves, there are caves in the Judean desert, but then again, we are losing that when there is construction going on. And you can see there are a lot of houses. So there's a big difference than what was here 2,000 years ago and what is here today. If you look at the pictures, then we see, of course, first Zakaria. And if we spoke about, Zakaria is a priest. He's not a high priest, but he's a priest working in the temple. And one of the common things to do is to bring offerings. So in this picture, you can see some motives of this when the women bring offering to the temple, to the priest. That the angel appeared to Zechariah while he was in the temple, telling him that he's going to have a son. And he was a bit surprised, to say the least, or showing disbelief that he's going to have a son. His wife is not a young woman anymore. And then he's punished by becoming mute. It's only when he takes the board and writes the name of the son. And the name was not a common name like other names at that time. The name is Yochanan. It is not like you say John. John is a pronunciation in a different language. In the Bible, the name is Yochanan, and what it means is that God granted Elizabeth with a son. And another thing about his name, Zechariah. Remember when we spoke about the names Immanuel, Yechezkel, Daniel, Ishmael. All of those names refer to God. El is God. Elohim, God. Immanuel, God is with us. Immanuel, with us. Yechezkel, the prophet, God is strong, almighty. Daniel, Dan, God is a judge. The valley of Jezreel, God is plentiful. Ishmael, God hears. Yehovah. We are not using the specific name of God. And mind you that the word Yehovah means Haya, was, Hoveh, is, Yihye, will be. God is forever, was, is, and forever. Zechariah, God remembers. Remember the servant of Ahab that is approached by Elijah? Obadiah, God's servant. Mataniah, God's gift. This is the Hebrew. And this is what makes the Bible on its language so rich. So Zechariah, he's a priest in the temple. Of course, you see the visit. You can always see in the pictures, Mary is also wearing a halo. She would always have blue or white. And Elizabeth, Elisheva, greeting her. And of course, the scene of the massacre of the babies, and the angel is showing Elizabeth a place of refuge for her and her baby.